America really sat up and took notice over the weekend when a relative of the NBA superstar Dwyane Wade was shot dead in broad daylight in Chicago. She was pushing a baby stroller at the time. The case brought renewed attention to the grinding war on Chicago's streets. And tonight, ABC's Pierre Thomas has the latest on the case and on this epidemic of violence.
When Dwyane Wade, NBA superstar, made an appearance on ESPN's Town Hall on gun violence last week, he didn't know just how personal gun violence was about to become for him.
It's important for all of us to help each other, to go back and say, you know what, where did this start at, how did this start, and let's see how we can change there.
Little did Wade know that a day later, his own family would become front and center. His cousin, Nykea Aldridge, gunned down in Chicago, the victim of crossfire while pushing her baby in a stroller. Nykea's mom left overwhelmed by grief.
I was crying, like, why my baby?
An outraged Dwyane Wade took to social media, tweeting, "My cousin was killed today in Chicago. Another act of senseless gun violence. 4 kids lost their mom for no reason. Unreal. Enough is enough." The head of Chicago police held a hastily arranged press conference to express his anger about the carnage.
All Chicagoans should be frustrated.
22-year-old Darren Sorrells and 26-year-old Darren Sorrells Jr. were arrested on Sunday and charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder. Both are being held without bond. Both convicted felons, one with a past gun offense. So far this year in Chicago, 429 people have been shot and killed.
These 2 offenders are the prime example of the challenge we face here in Chicago with repeat gun offenders that don't care who they shoot, don't care whose life they take.
We were recently in Chicago and got to see firsthand the violence unfold.
They're saying a couple people shot, 2 different locations.
We're on Chicago's troubled South Side, riding with Paulie LaPointe.
All right, which shooting is worse, do you know?
He's what some call a night crawler, a video journalist who spends his evenings covering shooting after shooting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Bishop first because that's a hot block, so.
But in this neighborhood, it seems like every block is hot.
It's definitely a homicide.
There's a body. Okay. Covered up. How many times have you shot a dead victim?
At least 200 this year.
200 this year?
Yeah.
Those are human lives. Gone. She thinks she knows who may have been shot. She's calling somebody, and they're not answering their phone, and she's worried it's someone she knows.
The cries of Chicago, this happens at every shooting.
Even before the cries subside and the body can be removed, another call comes in.
People standing around there.
Oh, yeah. It's a hot zone right here.
So somebody's dead on the street. Doesn't look like there are a lot of witnesses.
It's probably that those witnesses don't want to talk. Got to be 24 people standing on the other side of Peace Tip over there. Somebody saw something.
Meanwhile, the music plays on as if nothing happens. There's something just not right about the way these people die on the street like this.
There's lead flying all over America, killing people, and it's something that should be addressed as a major health issue.
In fact, the American Medical Association has recognized this as a public health crisis and is seeking to overturn 20-year-old legislation preventing the CDC from researching gun violence. We finally stopped filming at 3 a.m. Saturday morning, but by 11 a.m., more gun violence in Chicago. 4 of this woman's family members have just been shot. She asked that we not show her face, fearing for her safety.
It's a beating on the back door. So when I open the door, he just falls right in and I just see all the blood.
But then her brother, pregnant sister, and friend also stumble in, also having been shot.
I'm leaving Chicago the first chance I get.
You feel like you need to get out of here?
It's not safe.
Community activist Andrew Holmes is here at the scene to help victims.
Hopefully they survive these injuries.
But for him, it's personal. His daughter, 32-year-old Tamara Sword, mother of 5, was shot dead in Indianapolis, caught in the crossfire.
I worked very hard for many years as an activist to reduce gun violence, and it hits my home deep, my own daughter.
When you got the word about her, I mean,
how you even process it took me through pure hell. Pure hell. You know, I just wanted to give up. I didn't want to give a damn about anybody else anymore. When I'm taking a family to identify their loved ones, it's like I'm unzipping that bag, looking at her.
At Chicago PD's high-tech command center, they're fighting crime with 27,000 security cameras and sophisticated microphones deployed by ShotSpotter, a California company supplying audio sensors in 90 U.S. cities. When we met with Superintendent Johnson in late June, the frustration was building.
Chicago is a city of 2.6 million people. So out of that 2.6 million, it's 1,400 individuals that are really driving most of our gun violence in the city. Essentially, since January 1st, Chicago Police Department has recovered 1 gun per hour of this year, 1 illegal gun per hour.
Is that hundreds, if not
4,000, roughly 4,000? 4,000.
Less than 2 months later, according to the Chicago PD, the number is now a staggering 6,000 guns.
We recover more guns than LA and New York combined.
Chicago police are trying a new approach by focusing their efforts on 1,400 people they say have prior offenses and gang relations. Their names compiled on a list, Chicago's strategic subject list.
We will say, hey, you want to change your lifestyle, we're willing to help you. But if they don't choose to change their lifestyle, then we'll come after them with everything. But the sad tragedy of it is a lot of them become victims of gun violence.
The men who were arrested for Nykea Wade's death were on that list. The death of Wade's cousin ironic. He's now returning to his hometown to play for the Chicago Bulls, wanting to use his celebrity to bring change. But that death underscoring the enormous challenge that he and Chicago now face.
This reprehensible act of violence is the example of why we need to change the way we treat habitual offenders in the city of Chicago. When will enough be enough?
Enough? This is a city where a 9-year-old boy was shot to death by gangbangers as retribution.
Put the guns down, please. This is my only baby.
Where a woman was gunned down a block away from police headquarters as she got her morning coffee at Starbucks.
A stray bullet piercing Nelson's chest.
And now, a mother registering her children for school, fatally wounded, bullets whizzing by her baby in a stroller. For Nightline, I'm Pierre Thomas in Washington.
And we want to thank Pierre Thomas for that extraordinary reporting.